Hi everyone, this video is going to be the second part of probably a two-part series discussing The Ordinary's Hair Multi-Peptide Serum. If you have not seen the first part, I will link that in the upper right hand corner for you. Please make sure you go watch that before you continue to watch this video. It has really important information, just basics on the ingredients, on the product itself, on what claims the product is making, and it gives you a background into my own hair so that you can kind of gauge the results that I see and compare that to what your situation might be. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and follow Allura Beauty on Instagram. The handle will be in the description box. I'll also link to where you can find this hair density serum if you're interested in actually purchasing it, as well as a link to Ebates so that if you do make any online purchase for pretty much anything, not just the serum, you can at least get some cash back. So as with part one, I will try to put timestamps in the description box so that you can jump around if you want to. Although again, I think that the information I'm going to give you goes hand in hand throughout the video, so it may be important for you to see all of the different parts. But in this video, I will do a very brief recap of what it is we are testing and what this product is and claims to be. Two, I'm going to address some comments or questions that some viewers had on part one, which I think are very good insights to discuss and to address before we talk about any sort of progression or results that I've seen. And then three, of course, I will be discussing what results, if any, I have been seeing while testing out this product. And I think fourth, I will also probably discuss with you some alternatives to this serum if you are looking for increased hair density or volume. So really brief recap. This is a serum that The Ordinary basically claims will increase the look of fullness or density in your hair. And what I have been doing for the past 5 weeks or so, it's been over a month when I first started using this, I have been applying this every single day on dry hair. I think I may have missed 1 or 2 days out of the entire process, but pretty much every single day I have applied this as instructed. I use approximately 8 to 10 different drops over the scalp, and I have only been applying it to my I'm getting confused on the camera. I've been applying it to my right side of the scalp, which on your screen will be the left side, because I wanted to really not only get my own impressions of whether I think my hair is more dense or full, but to get a visual difference so that if there is some sort of change, you can compare it from one side to the other. Now that segues into the next part of this video that I wanted to cover, which is to address a couple of comments that were left on the part one video. And there were 2 viewers who made kind of similar comments. One viewer said that I do not agree with your definition of density at all. And just for context, in the first video, I defined density as increasing the number of hairs in a given space on your scalp. Said it is much more likely that it increases the thickness of the hair strands individually and may wash away when you shampoo. Another viewer said, I have used multiple products like this over the years, and when I see density, I take that to mean the density or volume of the hair shaft itself, not that it will actually increase the number of hairs. So my response to this is that these 2 people are making valid points that the term density could be defined as or interpreted as meaning making one hair strand appear more thick, basically by coating it with something around that individual strand to therefore make your hair overall look more thick and dense. That is a fair, I would say, interpretation of the term density, but I don't think it's a valid interpretation of how The Ordinary for this product is using the term density, or at least wanting you to think the term density. It's not the way that they want you to interpret that word. And the reason why I say that is there's lots of different reasons. The biggest reason why I don't think that's what The Ordinary is saying is when you look at the description of the ingredients, The Ordinary says things like the ingredients are supposed to increase the blood flow to the scalp, which allows the hair to be well nourished, resulting in appearance of thicker hair. And they also talk about having ingredients that target the stem cells in your scalp, and just things like that. So those kinds of things are talking about ingredients that are supposed to go into your body to create from the inside out a different appearance. Does that make sense? It's not, they are very clearly trying to suggest something more than just, oh, this is a product that just temporarily coats the outside of your strands and then washes away when you shampoo. That is, at the end of the day, what I think this maybe actually does, but The Ordinary wants you to think that it does something more than just that. The other major reason why I don't think that's a valid interpretation of the claims The Ordinary is making is because the directions for usage of this product explicitly say that you should apply this to the scalp and then massage it or rub it into the scalp. If The Ordinary were just saying, oh, this is just a cosmetic product that temporarily coats the surface of your strands to make them look thicker, i.e. denser, then they would instruct you to put it all throughout until at least the nape of the neck, probably throughout the entire strand, because they would want it to be covering the entire strand to make it look more thick. They are clearly not doing that. They are saying you should massage it into the scalp only, to suggest that it's going to seep into the scalp and then do something from the inside out. Their claims also talk about having an ultra lightweight emollient base for efficient penetration, which again, if you just are selling a product that is supposed to coat the outside strands of the hair and not have any sort of long-term effects, there's no reason why you would be trying to tell your purchasers that the product is supposed to penetrate into the skin. So at the end of the day, I really do think that the way that The Ordinary is writing its claims, they are trying to get the consumer to think that this is a product that will really do something from the inside out to maybe either make the strand grow in a more thick manner or to make more hair strands grow in a given area to make your hair overall look more dense. All right, so that's that. Now moving on to my experience with this product. I will just tell you up front, this has done zero to increase the look of density in my hair or to make it more voluminous. And I mean that in a couple of different ways. The first way that I mean is that after over 5 weeks, I think, of using this product on a daily basis, I have not seen an increase in the visual appearance of density or volume in my hair. I also mean that in a temporary sense, which I was kind of surprised at because I expected in using this product to at least see maybe something that is on the lines of something more temporary, like a zhuzhing of the hair, or just something that, like the viewers were saying, or the couple of commenters were saying, that it just temporarily coats the strands to make it look a little thicker before you have your next shampoo. But I didn't even see that. So I did go on a weekly basis. I tried to do it each Friday of the week to take pictures. And as I did in the first video, I parted my hair down the middle so that I could make sure to apply it just to the one half of my scalp and to take photos. And these photos are taken after an application. So it's not like I had applied it earlier that day and then many hours later took the photo. For the most part, these photos were taken directly after an application. And even then, I didn't see any sort of visual difference or increase in the look of voluminousness or density in my hair. I do maintain my initial impressions in the first video, which is that I didn't find that this was an overly greasy product. I didn't find that it made my hair look super dirty or weighed down. Now, of course, it is possible that you perhaps need to use this product for a longer period of time. Maybe you won't see results for 2 or 3 months. The Ordinary doesn't specify how long you would need to use this before you started seeing results. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to use this on a daily basis for at least another 2 months. I have, from my about 5 weeks, I've used up about to the top of this sticker here. So I've used up, I would guesstimate about 1/4 of the bottle, probably a little bit less. So I have plenty of product left. I will continue to do this experiment for the next 2 months at least. But what I'm gonna say in this video now is that unless I actually see a difference that I can comment to you about and report back to you, I will not be making a 3rd part to this video. If my comments are the same, that I don't see any sort of difference and I'm just repeating myself, it's silly to make a 3rd video. So if you don't hear back from me in a couple of months with a video that says, hey, you guys, after continuing to use this for another month or 2, I did start to see changes, you can safely assume that it just continued to not make a difference in my hair. And I do want to reiterate, I have nothing against The Ordinary. If you've watched any of my skincare videos, I am a very big fan of many of the skincare products from The Ordinary, and I use many of them on a daily basis. Not a fan of 100% of the things in the line, but that's probably true for every brand that I have products from. But I really did want to test the integrity of the claims that the product is making. And again, to reiterate, I don't see anything in the ingredients that are backed by scientific evidence or studies that even suggest that they are effective in actually increasing hair growth or hair volume. The caveat on that obviously is that there are a few proprietary ingredients in here, so you're not actually told what constitutes those proprietary named ingredients, so I can't exactly speak to that. But looking at the ingredients that are listed, plus my tracking and experience in testing this product out, I don't think that it is going to increase the volume or density of your hair. Now, you may have noticed a difference between the way my hair looks today in this video and the way that it looked in part 1, and I want to make sure that I address this. So about 2 weeks ago, I got a haircut, and to me, I'm moving into the kind of alternatives sections of this video, alternatives to using something or purchasing something like this. That was the absolute biggest game changer in terms of allowing my hair to look more voluminous and froofy, I guess. I had just very, very long hair, well below scapula, shoulder length. And I think given that I have fairly straight, thin hair, it just really, the weight of the hair was weighing it down. So I cut off about 2.5 inches of hair and I maintained the long layers. And that has really helped my hair feel more lightweight, be more free, and not so weighed down and straight looking. So definitely more than anything, that has helped. It hasn't been this product. I continued to do the same experimentation, and let's go ahead and I'll show you. So I continued to do the testing to see if there's any difference. And you can hopefully tell, so one thing you have to account for is that I do have side bangs. So I guess try to ignore these little strands over here. But if you just look at the difference between, sorry, the left side and the right side here, there is no dramatic or visible difference in the volume or the density of the hair. And so this is the side that I applied the serum to, okay? I don't see any sort of noticeable difference. And you can tell from the photos that I took each week that there doesn't seem to visually be any sort of noticeable increase in density or volume. So unfortunately, my first suggestion to actually getting effective volume to your hair is not very fancy. It's get a haircut if you have really long hair and put some layers in it so that it has more airiness and freeness and lightness. And then of course the alternative is to just invest your money in products that actually do market themselves as temporary volumizers. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with claiming what a product actually does instead of trying to claim that it does something a lot more when it doesn't. So the 2 that I have been using were actually sent by Amika, and one is the Undone Volume and Matte Texture Spray, and this other one is the Perk Up Dry Shampoo. So of course you don't have to use these specific ones, although I have been very much enjoying them. They initially, when you spray them, they have a pretty strong scent, so just be aware. But as someone who is kind of sensitive to smells, I have found these a joy to be using because although initially it is pretty strong, after you know, rub it into the scalp and comb it out or whatever it is you do for styling, it leaves a pretty light but noticeable scent on the strand, and it's really nice to just get a whiff of really nice fragrance once in a while. It's not overpowering, but just to get that light scent on your strands that you can tell is there once in a while, especially if you haven't washed your hair in a couple of days. It's been really pleasant to be using these. You can use them in conjunction with each other if you have a few days old or a couple days old unwashed or unshampooed hair. You definitely want to start with the dry shampoos to put it in the roots, and then on top of that you could do the Undone Volume and Matte Spray and do it more around the nape of the neck and including the scalp to really give you that zhuzh. Or if you're just looking for the volume and you're on clean washed hair, you could just use the Volume and Matte Spray. In my experience, when I shampoo the next day, having super clean hair can actually be something that combats volume and airiness. I'm not sure why that happens, because on the other hand of the spectrum, if I have like few days old hair that I haven't been shampooing, the oils also weigh it down and make it look non-voluminous and also dirty. But sometimes if you have just shampooed your hair and you don't have a lot of time to be blow drying it and curling it or whatever to get that volume, you can use this volume and matte texture spray as a very quick fix to just infuse a bit of volume for that day. Now, I don't want this to come off as discrediting other people's experiences. Obviously, I can only speak to my own testing of the product and my experiences with it. I do think that, like with any product, there can be some degree of wishful thinking on what results you're getting with the product, or a kind of placebo effect with people thinking that they see a difference. Especially if you are not having a control group. By no means is my experimentation a scientifically vigorous control group, but I at least tried to divide it so that I could see whether there's a difference. That's to kind of control my own bias and wishful thinking. I don't want to be applying it all over my scalp and then 3 weeks later saying, oh, I think that I see a difference. The half application really lets me compare to see if there is any sort of noticeable difference between the application half and the I haven't done anything different than I have for years and years half. So there are a ton of positive reviews on this product. I don't know if that is more based in the wishful thinking part or if people truly have noticed some sort of long-term difference, but I personally have not noticed any sort of improvement or change. Now, do I have a problem with the product aside from its claims? If I divorced the claims from the product itself, no, I don't have a problem with it. There aren't harmful ingredients in here. I don't see it actively damaging my hair or anything like that. It's just a matter of, I think that people are paying for more of a wish and a hope than actual ingredients and actual results. And on that note, I will say that I think that this can be a very fair, good product if you are looking for something like nourishment of your strands or the scalp. If you have dryness on the scalp, I think that this actually is a beautiful product for treating that because it has the kind of nourishing emollient qualities of an oil without having the heaviness and thickness of a traditional hair oil. So I actually would want to see this in an ideal world marketed as something that nourishes the hair strands, or even as a really lightweight hair oil that you could put at the end of the strands if you have dullness or frizziness that you want to address. But in terms of actually doing what the marketing stuff wants you to think this product does, I don't think it's there. All right, I hope that you have enjoyed these couple of videos and this update and the information that I have for you. If you have had any other sort of experience, please feel free to share them in the comment section below. And if you have any other thoughts that you would like to comment on, then of course feel free to do that also. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you in the next one.